G'day Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs. So, coming down to the nitty gritty end of the season, what changes would people make for the final few rounds? Well, there's a bit to weigh up. So, starting with this week's game against the Eels, Luke Thompson and Tevita on the extended bench. Jackson Tapine is named on the first grade bench, but also named to start in New South Wales Cup. So with that in mind, I would suggest that kid won't be in the first grade side, which isn't good news for him. There's a little bit more to delve into. Tevita, you would suggest, is coming back, considering it wasn't an injury. Would have done him the world of good, I think, to have that week off. So I expect him to come in and be dominant against the Eels for small periods of time, because his fitness, he's a player that just needs to keep playing and playing to stay fit with this sort of body that he has. Moving into things, that leaves us with Luke Thompson. You would say if he's right to go, he's going to play off the bench. So the players that will make way for him will either be Edwards, who's named to start. That means nothing. Edwards, Stimson or Patolo. For me, I would take out Joe Stimson, not because he's been playing badly, but if he's not playing next year, I think it serves the players that are going to be in the squad next year. With obviously Luke Thompson is a player I'd say he's going to stay with the Dogs. There's a lot of speculation that he's going to go. Wouldn't surprise me. I'm on the fence with it. But my gut feel says that, and I've said this from the start, is that there's just no value in how much he's being paid. I've said it was $850 at times, or $800, but the official amount apparently is $750, which is a little bit better. Do we just let him play out the final year of his contract, let him have a good season and try and earn another contract in the NRL next year? Whichever way you see it, I don't think he's going to keep earning the money he's been earning. So moving right along, I expect Tomo will play on the bench and Stimson to come out, but considering Thompson's a middle, Tevita's a middle, Joe's been playing in the middle, it seems, so he's been playing as a middle forward when he's been coming in, so I'd say he'll go. The fact that put Edwards on the bench, he'll stay, on the edge I should say, he'll stay, and then it's Tapine and Stimson will drop out, I think, and Thompson will come in with Tevita Pangai. So that'll be the obvious change there. New South Wales Cup, 2 rounds left before they start their semis. Remembering they play their grand final on preliminary final week for first grade, because they have the interstate championship on grand final day. We're currently 3rd, 1 point ahead of 4th, 2 points ahead of 5th. Hopefully a win this week seals a top 4 place. If that's the case, I really hope we see Bailey Biondioto get a chance at halfback in first grade. I really hope we see Josh Stuckey get a go on the bench in first grade. I think he is one that I'd really like to see. He played for 40 minutes, made 170 metres and 5 tackle busts and a couple of line breaks and 19 tackles. I think that was on the edge. So he's a pretty good player, Josh Stuckey, and there was big raps on him coming down. They locked him up for a couple of years on a New South Wales Cup contract, so outside of the top 30. So Josh Stuckey's one I'd like to see. Obviously Gerald Skelton, we'd all like to see him play first grade, and what better chance to get him a run in a couple of weeks before the New South Wales Cup final. He looks like a quality player. We're all excited by him, and that fend reminded me of Jamal Idris when he come onto the scene. That big fend, great balance, but he seems to have really good footwork as well. And for the centre position, very, very exciting. Also can play on that edge as a back rower, and I think he's going to be a part of our system for a few years at good value, and then it's about wait and see. He could be on the radar for many clubs. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but yeah, what a talent. So who would drop out of first grade if we make way for these guys to come through? Well, that's a tough one, it's a real tough one. Raymond Fatala, he's obviously got to keep playing in first grade. He's got to have a good finish to the year with the amount of time he's had off. He's just got a new 3-year deal. Thompson will probably want to get some games in under his belt. Tevita will want to be there. So who makes way? Can they drop Kyle Flanagan and let Bailey Biondo play? Do they bring Bailey onto the bench for Zach Docker Clay? It's actually really, really interesting to see what they could do. Credence Toya would like to see him get a go. Probably won't happen unless there's an injury to, say, Jake Avarillo. But if Jake misses out, they're probably going to bring Declan Casey back into the side, because it's sort of a pecking order at the moment. But many fans would love to see Credence Toya get a go. Josh Stuckey's another one. Who would he replace? Do you swap him out for Edwards, because Edwards has had a couple of games? Give Stuckey a run. Hard to tell. But I'd give Flanagan a rest and let Bailey Biondo have a run, because I feel he deserves it. He's earned it. But probably a long shot at the same time. But if there's an injury in the halves, if there's a niggle around Burton, they'll rest him. I'm pretty sure of it. If there's a niggle around in any of the halves, we'll see Bailey come up. Hopefully, and then we take it from there. But that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see those players get a run once they secure that New South Wales Cup. And then we've got the exciting times for the New South Wales Cup finals, and hopefully the Bulldogs are there representing the state of New South Wales on Championship Day. Because I tell you what, if we get our best side out in that paddock, and we've got so much depth, that's going to be a hard team to pick. I don't see the QRL teams beating the Bulldogs side in reserve grade. Now, the Newtown, North Sydney and Penrith have all got very, very good sides that could also do a great job. But I just think if we've got our top side out there, which doesn't have flag players in it, that's got players going back to it, Edwards can go back into that side. So I think Jacob Carraz could play New South Wales Cup in the finals. I'm not sure if they do it though. Zach Docker Clay can go back, so there's a lot of depth in that side, and I really hope they can do the job for us. There'll be a lot of interest in that match. Flegg are going to fall just short, it seems. They're 3 points off the top 8. Off the top 5. Currently in, I think, 8th position. So they need to win their last 2 matches and have other results go their way. And I don't even know if it's mathematically possible, depend if, players in that top 4 or 5 play each other or anything like that. It looks like a real long shot. But they've come back well, and that's purely because when New South Wales Cup has great depth and the flag players can go back and play flag, they do a really good job, they're as good as any team in the competition. And they've proven that. The problem is, though, is that when a couple of their key players, so when Bailey Hayward's had to go back and play New South Wales Cup, and Eli Clark and a few others, they've really struggled. They've had a few injuries as well, so they've got a very talented side, top 17, but unfortunately it's just had its depth tested, and we just don't have the same depth that say the Panthers have in that position. You know, one drops out and they've got 3 players just waiting to join in. Anyway, guys, that's looking forward, looking ahead. I'd like to know what people's thoughts are. Who do you think should get a run towards the end of the season? Many of us would have said Josh Cook at the start of the year, especially with JMK leaving, but I can't see that happening. We want Jeremy Marshall in there because he's one of the best players in the team, unfortunately. And Josh Cook's now been demoted to the bench for New South Wales Cup. And Ryan Gray, who he looks like he's just come out off, he's just had his surf and then puts the boots on. He's not the flashiest player I've ever seen, but he tries hard. And work ethic has got him the starting position, and he played really well. He's just a footballer, just has a real go. Whereas Cook's got all the talent in the world, but I think the defensive workload gets beyond him sometimes. I'm not sure. There's obviously a reason for it. We're not the ones making the decisions here, but it's not looking like Josh Cook will get that first grade run this year. Anyway, guys, thanks for your support. Nearing the 200 subscribers now, and that's happened pretty quickly, so onward and upward. Thanks for having a chat with me, and I've said it a few times, it's this is just the way I can communicate my opinions, my thoughts. Some of the stuff you learn through the media, a lot of the time is just what I reckon. I have no insights. I have only a few insights into things. I have a lot of insight into media bullshit, but for the most part, it's just my opinion. Alright, guys, take care.